Hello and welcome to the Twilight European Network. Sometimes we have titles for people and we don't see the person behind that title. With us this morning to discuss this is the Ambassador to Ireland from the Kingdom of Morocco, Lahcen Mahraoui. Hello, sir.
Hello, and thank you for inviting me to this interview with you, this chat with you.
Yes, and as I said in the opening there, when people, even from your own diaspora, and they hear Mr. Ambassador, they do tend to not recognise that behind that title there's a man, a family and a history.
So yes, actually, title is a title. It's a responsibility as well. But behind that, there are, could be a lady, could be a man who has the same feeling that everybody, and who has a kind of style of living, thinking, doing business, and working. So, and they had also a kind of education behind them, and they had also a kind of a way of becoming ambassador. Yeah. So I think that before being an ambassador and after being an ambassador, we are all human beings.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of the diaspora here would have grown up in Morocco. I know that a lot of Moroccans went to France, but there's a large community here now in Ireland. And they would have went through the same education system as you did back home, right? So I know in Ireland, when I was in school, sometimes we had large classrooms, 41, 42, 43. And what was the system like in Morocco when you're growing up?
So actually it depends of where are you from in Morocco. So myself, I'm from Sahara, and it's a kind of desertic area actually. But by the way, we are talking about our diaspora, and through your channel I would like to just to greet them, and they are doing a very, very nice job. And they are all, by the way, ambassadors of Morocco, because it's very important to be in a country in which also you can share a lot of very interesting things, especially when you come from a country which has been a state for 12 centuries. Yeah. It's a big civilization. So yeah, if you are in the north of Morocco, like in the region of Tangier, you are only 14 kilometers from Spain. It's completely different than when you are from Dakhla or Ayoun in Sahara as myself. But we are all Moroccans, and we are sharing the same feelings. We are sharing the same education, and we are also very proud of our origin and of our country. So Morocco is just a crossroad between Europe and Africa. It's only 14 kilometers from Europe. And this crossroad actually is completely makes Morocco very, very special country, because it's not far away from Europe. It's in Africa, it's in the Arab world, and it's in Africa as well. So it helps a lot to be actually having this kind of mix of culture.
Yeah.
So in Morocco you can find Muslims, you can find Jewish, you can find Christians, and our king is actually the commander of faithful. So we are all equal, but we are sharing our Moroccanity. So it's very important for us.
Yeah, it is. And one of the topics that we've discussed before is the development of tourism and connections between chambers of commerce and organisations here in Ireland with the organisations in Morocco. And it's great news now that Ryanair are flying directly to Agadir.
Yeah, actually, tourism is one of the key paths to the economy of the country. Morocco has a lot to share in terms of sceneries like Ireland, in terms of education, as I said, in terms of civilization. If you go to Morocco, you can go also to these empire cities in Morocco. You will learn a lot about the country. And it's not far away from Europe. We have also very nice weather. So yeah, Ryanair is one of the companies that work in Morocco, from Morocco, with a lot of countries around Europe. And we are very, very lucky to have also direct flights from Dublin to Marrakesh, and another one that will start soon to Agadir. So Irish people now, if it's raining, if they are complaining about weather here, and they know that they are actually very, very, very bright people. They can also go. It's only 3 hours from Dublin to go to take actually benefit of the sun by the sea on or on making actually on going to walk on mountains and or even skiing in Atlas Mountains in Morocco. So yeah, Morocco is a big destination of tourism, and Irish would be, as I know them now, because I have been here now for 5 years, I know that they love Moroccan cuisine, they love Moroccan jokes, folk, and also culture. So yeah, they are all very welcome, and they will feel like at home in Morocco.
Yeah, because of your kind help, back in 2016-17, you put us in contact with Tisnet. And it was great because the Twilight Group developed a charter of friendship agreement. And I know that's something that's close to your heart, developing kind of community connections. And what do you see would be the best way to develop these programs, where it's kind of one community group in Morocco working with another community in Ireland, which may lead to working with a third party in another European country?
So actually, you are trying by this question to ask me what I'm doing here. Mm-hmm. So as I said, I'm here for two things: making friends and creating bridges. So since I have been here, actually, thanks God, we have done a lot of friends, like yourself, like people in Kilkenny and all around Ireland. And we created a lot of bridges, especially in terms of education between universities, also in terms of culture, so, and also between cities. Tisnet and Kilkenny are two cities of the same size. They are only 1 hour driving from the main city, like Dublin to Kilkenny or Agadir to Tisnet. They have also something in common. They are all old cities, and they are working on handicraft. So I think that you yourself, you have visited Tisnet, and you have felt how people are like people in Ireland. So the main objective for me is how to move from this kind of diplomacy of doing culture, education, and business to diplomacy of people to people. So when we get to know each other, I'm sure that we can work together and to create something in the future together. It's good for us, for the generation coming after us. So my aim project is to see how Ireland and Morocco could deepen more and more their relationships, and to see people from Ireland go into the second home, Morocco, and to be in the same time in a country which is an African, which is an Arabic, and in the same time which is also Muslim, and to get in touch with what the world could give Ireland in these three different ways of the African world, the Muslim world, and Arabic world, and also to enjoy this stuff.
Yeah, I would be very impressed with this connections you've done with the universities. It's a great way to get students to interact between the two countries as well, you know, and that obviously was something that you targeted from the beginning. You know, it seems to be a thing, and it's a wonderful way of bringing students together. And I know one of the things that we've spoke about between Tisnet and Kilkenny is the silver trade, because they have a fantastic silver festival in Tisnet, you know. Exactly, yeah. And that would be one thing that we should be building as well, isn't it? That we can send students and also people who can learn the trade of the two different cultures.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I think when we do this kind of bridges, it's open to all fields. Everyone can find his way in doing it. So I think that we have also a discussion about the seniors, yes, who can go in winter time to just enjoy themselves in Tisnet by the sea. They can also enjoy the food, the culture, and as you mentioned, there are a lot of things that we can create around this kind of travels that we can create But the main project could be also, and for me it's the backbone, is how to create bridges of trade and commerce. So I think that it's very important to think now not only about Kilkenny, but all the region of Kilkenny, and to see how we can work with Tisnet, but the whole region of Agadir. And they think that making this kind of highway bridges could give anyone a chance to find where to find themselves. Either it could be in trade, it could be in culture, it could be in education, it could be in tourism, it could be in sports. And when doing this, I think that we will achieve our mission to create this kind of bridges and deepen this kind of relations. Because when we deepen the relation between city to city in the same times, you are thinking local, but you are acting local, but you are thinking global.
Yeah, it's just when we were talking earlier on about the position of a diplomat and like that. For our viewers, it seems a very, very interesting but demanding job. And when did your career path veer into the diplomatic end of it?
Actually, we are all born diplomatic.
Right.
It depends how to do it and how to... Actually, I grew up in a family giving me the sense of ideals and principles. So from Sahara, where I was born, then I went to school, then to college in Agadir, then to Paris to get my PhD in Paris. And through all this journey, I learned a lot. Meeting people, connecting with people, exchanging with people in different cultures.
Right.
So that made the man. And afterwards, I was also, when I finished my thesis, asked my country to serve my country in what I know the best, my research and development. But I was also very involved in NGOs. So for me, to be at the disposal of people who are in need makes a sense and meaning to my life. Right. So it helps a lot. I'm a kind of man who has not this diplomatic career. I'm from outside, because in Morocco we have this possibility to put in the diplomacy some people from outside. It's just to give a new blood to diplomacy. I'm thinking out of the box, but everything I'm doing, it's to achieve actually how to leave behind me a footprint in which I will leave something sustainable between the two countries. Because what matters to me is, when I'm thinking to do an action, is how can this action to be in benefits for both countries. So one of the big achievements that we have is now we have a new embassy of Ireland in Morocco. And my colleague, ambassador over there, is very happy. He just arrived a week ago, and he presented a copy of his credentials to our minister yesterday. So very, very happy, because it wasn't easy. Spending 5 years here, we cannot clap with one hand. We need two hands to clap. So I think that, it's promising for the future of our two countries to see that we have two embassies working hand in hand for the benefit of our two beloved countries and people.
That concept you just mentioned about people from, we'll say, outside the political sphere, and as someone coming in with a community background, that's fantastic, because you're bringing in complete new ideas. You're looking at things completely different, as you say, outside the box. And is that common with other countries, or is it kind of a unique system with Morocco?
So actually, there are many countries in which they have ambassadors from political ambassadors. They have, but I think that we have this ability, for myself, I'm talking for myself, to do what I want to do, because what matters to my king is how to deepen the relationship between Ireland and Morocco, and I was given this kind of freedom to do it as I want. So before starting working, I just looked what Ireland is,
Right.
and how the people are, and what they need exactly to know about my country, and where are the centers of interest. And then I started making a strategy. So one of the most important in the life of an ambassador is to be in touch with people,
Yeah.
to get to know them. And then I found that in Ireland, people are, as I said, they are complaining about weather, but they are bright. So it's very important, and it actually it made my business and my job very easy to contact people who are very curious, who are interested in life, who are interested in other cultures, and all these kind of things was very helping to me.
What advice would you give to someone who's saying, you know, someday I would like to be a member of the diplomatic corps and maybe someday be an ambassador? Is there any kind of advice you would give someone?
You know, we are born Moroccan. We are born with a kind of tradition, with a big behavior, a big civilization. And I think that the shape you are talking about, would it be a lady or a kid actually was made, they have a family.
Yeah.
The family come with a lot of principles that they are sharing with their neighborhood, and they are all ambassadors, as I said before, because when you are behaving correctly, you are representing your country correctly. When you are in your neighborhood appreciated, you make people interested in you, in your family, and afterwards to your country. So when you are in this kind of environment, you could also be very good in school. And when you are good in school, you can achieve everything that you want to. So having the positive from both sides, coming from Morocco, growing up in Ireland, it could be a kind of asset that could help people to be actually very, very good in the future, and trying to help us to create and to make sustainable this kind of bridges that we are trying to do. And I'm sure, and it's the advice the piece of advice I can give this children today who are Moroccan and they are Irish as well, that think about your future, be what you are, be proud of what you are doing, try to give a meaning to your life, live your life as a child, grow up in a good environment, and to be responsible tomorrow. So you can be an ambassador, be it official or ambassador, because you are all ambassadors.
That's wonderful advice. And it can be, I think we discussed this before, and it was just, I was talking about the fact that I had the pleasure of meeting your lovely family, your wife and your children, and I think we spoke about the fact that it can be hard if you're moving from one country to another, lifting up your roots and moving on, you know. And you explained it in a wonderful way. I wonder if you just explain again about the fact that your heritage and your history and your culture came from that nomadic. I thought it was a wonderful way of describing it, but maybe for the viewers you'd explain it again.
Yeah, actually, you know, the life of ambassador is a kind of nomadic life. So for me, it's not strange because I'm from Sahara. My parents were nomads as well. So we had to move from a part of Sahara where there is a drought to where it's raining. So and also moving through my life from Sahara to the north of Morocco to continue my study, moving from there to France. It's also a kind of nomadism. Meeting my wife in France, getting married, having children, having this kind of also, you are mixed European, mixed Moroccan, but what matters is how to make this kind of marriage even of culture, giving your personality something that is worth to have. So nomadism is a kind that I have inherited from my family, but I'm also doing it today in my job as ambassador. And ambassadors, it's known that they have a term of few years in a country, then they move to another country. But what matters is what they left behind them.
When you explained that to me, it made sense. You know what I mean? I could see, I often, because I was saying it must be hard on a family to kind of, you've just made your friends, you've just been in school, or you've just got a job and suddenly your term is up and we all move on again and we start again. But would you say you've been here 5 years? Yeah. And when your term does finish, and hopefully it won't be for a while yet, because I think you're very open to ourselves, and I feel it's great to have friends like yourself. If we were to say to you, what one thing would you like to leave behind as your legacy when you move on to another country? Just one thing that you say, I'm happy I've done that. I know it's a tough question, because you've done so much.
Actually, if you need just one sentence, it's very important to look when I arrived and what we have done so far. And I think that what matters is just this kind of diplomacy of people to people. It's what matters. Mm-hmm. It's the sense of everything. So when people enjoy meeting other peoples, when you enjoy going to Tisnet and your friends from Kilkenny, and when Moroccans from Tisnet are coming to Kilkenny, knowing each other, trying, it's a big legacy. And I hope that my term will not finish soon, to do what we did with Kilkenny with others, actually cities and region of Ireland and Moroccans, because there is a lot of things that we can do together.
Mr. Ambassador, it's been a pleasure as always talking to you, and from our own perspective, the Twilight Community Group would like to thank you personally for all the great help and assistance you've given us since we first met that evening down in the hotel and we went through a few things. Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for
coming. So thank you to you for inviting me to sharing with you this very, very short life of an ambassador, a Moroccan one, because mine is not the life of other ambassadors. But anyway, it's to me to help to thank you, because you helped us to make this kind of bridges happen. And once again, I'm looking forward to see more and more bridges between Kilkenny and the area of Kilkenny and the region of Kilkenny, working together with the region of Agadir and Tisnet particularly. So once again, thank you very much for that.
Thank you. And now we will have other people of interest who will be meeting over the next few programmes, and I hope you join us again. But for now, it's thank you to the Moroccan Ambassador to Ireland from the Kingdom of Morocco, and you for watching. Thank you very much.